What's up, guys? Chris Flores here, and welcome to another edition of Men Mentoring Men. And today we're going to talk about a topic of money, not in the rapper throw money, make it rain type of way. I'm talking about real money, like what people should really be thinking about with money. So one of the things that helped me out was my dad had told me at an early age to invest in stock, what he did with his company he worked for, General Electric, for a number of years. So stock, mutual funds, and life insurance. There's many other ways to try and save money, but these are the three that I put a lot of money in when I was younger. I shouldn't say a lot of money, but a little bit of money in when I was younger. Now, I highly recommend if you're below 30, let's say 25, 24, you're just getting out in the workforce, or maybe a little bit older, getting out in the workforce, go find a financial planner. I promise you it'll be the best thing you ever did. Whether you go to Fidelity and get a financial planner through them, just set up some kind of system where you're saving some kind of money for retirement. We cannot depend on Social Security. Chances are when we get to that age, I'm 32 now, but I know when I get to 65 or whatever age you start collecting Social Security, I'm not banking on that's actually going to be there. So we were actually in a seminar recently, Rich Mejias from Next Generation and Frank from One-to-One Fitness put on this seminar and talking about money and business and everything else, and they had a financial planner come up and speak, and he hit on a couple of good points, and I think that some of the stuff he said is really valid, so I'm going to kind of give you a scoop of what I've been doing and kind of what he talked about and what I do with my financial planner. From a young age, just for my story, my dad had me put in $30 a month to stock. So for the last, since I think I started like 19 or so, was putting $30 a month, $30 a month, $30 a month to in stock. Now, it's not growing drastically. I'm not putting crazy amounts of money. $30 a month as it comes out of your account, if you have it set up automatically, it's not going to make you starve, right? But it's something that's there. If you ever, a rainy day, God forbid something happens, you have an emergency, you have this money sitting in a stock that you can take out. You don't want to take it out, but it's there if it was necessary. The second thing is mutual funds. Just taking $25, $30, maybe $50 a month. As I've made more money, I've increased how much comes out, but it automatically gets taken out. So you don't really see the money, because I know a lot of people say, oh, I save in the savings account in my bank, and you see that statement every time you look at your checking. The problem with that is when you see it, you know that money's there, and you kind of bank on it. Well, maybe I'll take $1,000 out of my savings and put it into my checking account just for vacation, or maybe I'll take this out of it, and before you know it, you're dwindling away all your savings. So if you have these different accounts set up where money's being pumped into them and you don't see the money, like I get my statements from my mutual funds and I don't even open the letter anymore. I really rip it up and throw it out because I don't want to see the money, because if I see it, I'm more likely to be like, I kind of need a new car or whatever it is. So, take that and just toss it to the side and let it keep building upon itself, compounding interest. And that's something, definitely look up that term and what that means, and just compounding your money. The other thing was life insurance policies. I mean, the younger you are, if you start a life insurance policy earlier, it's a lot cheaper. So the same policy at 25, if you try and buy into that same policy at 55, it's going to cost you, well, let's say quadruple the amount per month in order to save. So at 25, you may be paying $80. I think the one I have is $120 a month. I'm putting $120 a month, but it's a policy that over time keeps building up, building up, building up. And God forbid if anything happens to me and, my family, I know one day if I have kids, a wife, whatever, I know they'll be taken care of because of that policy I started when I was in my 20s. But if I wanted to buy in that same policy with that same amount of coverage at 55, it would have cost me a crazy amount of money a month. You're talking about, I know people who are putting in, who didn't save up, who are putting $700-800 a month or so into life insurance policies, and that's crazy to think about, but that's to protect their family if anything happens to them. Had they had that same policy at a younger age, you barely any sweat off your brow to save that money up. So there's different ways to save money, there's different ways to put it away, and I strongly recommend that you young people, again, in your 20s or so, you're going out there, you're starting to make a little bit of money, take 10% or whatever of it and start putting it away. Get a financial planner. Sit down, talk to them about setting up an IRA or something that when you retire, I know it's crazy to think about retirement in your 20s, but you really want to start planning for this, because if you don't plan now, by the time you get there, it's going to be too late. If you wait till you're in your 50s, and not to say you can't do it, it's just going to cost you so much more money. Whereas if you squirrel some little bit away, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be $30 a month, it could be $50, it could be $25 a month. At least put something away and let it start building on its own without you looking at it, without you paying attention to it. kind of talk to a financial planner, let it start building up, building up, building up. Before you know it, you'll have this to investment that you can put into something else. And again, it starts slow and it builds, builds, builds. And trust me, when you get in your 40s and 50s, you're going to be like, wow, I'm glad I put that money away when I was in my 20s and didn't spend it on sneakers and clothes and cars and buying bottle service at the club. I mean, that stuff's cool and it's fun. But if you're spending your rent money and the money you should be saving on these things, then you can't afford it. You know, one thing the financial guy told us at this seminar, and it hit me like a ton of bricks because I ran into a situation recently with my car. But he said there's a difference between affording a car and affording payments. And unfortunately, a lot of people can afford the payments and they think they can afford the car. But realistically, just because you can afford payments doesn't mean you can afford that car. And you got to be a little wiser about how you spend your money, because the last thing you want to do is make a ton when you're young and then be broke when you're older and be struggling. You know, it's nothing wrong with working in your 60s and 70s if you want to work, but it's another thing that you have to work at that age. And there's two different sides of the spectrum. So that's advice, our money advice. Again, it's not the greatest advice in the world. It's what helped me, and that's my story. And hopefully it can inspire someone else to start saving and start getting their mind right when it comes to money. So check us out next time. We'll be talking about a bunch of topics. Going to start having some people on. My boy Paul agreed to come on and spread some light on us. So talk to you guys soon.